Hey everyone, Drew Creekmer, Wealth Advisor with Creekmer Wealth here. Hope you all are doing well and have been able to wrap up your summer, get those last trips in, enjoy a baseball game, get out in the weather that we're having, and I hope you've been enjoying yourself the last number of weeks. In today's video, I want to talk about an article that our Director of Financial Planning, Andy Anderson, wrote, talking about one of the biggest risks that we see for pre-retirees and retirees. And that risk is called sequence of return risk. And so, if you haven't read that article yet, we're going to put it in the body of this email. I would strongly encourage you to read through it. And Andy does a great job talking in further detail about this risk. But I want to high level just one of the things that is so interesting about sequence of return risk and why it's such a big deal. So, your whole life, you've been working, saving money, building your retirement assets so that whenever the time comes and you say, hey, you know what? Either I want to be done working or I want to have a work optional lifestyle, you have the money set aside to help you do that. And one of the things that we specialize in is helping people figure out how to go from saving to decumulating or withdrawing your assets in the most efficient manner possible. And one of the risks that a lot of people just know, but maybe don't fully understand the impact of is well, if the market tanks right after I retire, what happens because to my assets because I'm now pulling money out? And so Andy does a great job breaking it down, but let me just high level it for you. We have a scenario, one showing in over the course of 5 years, returns of 25%, 15%, 5%, -5%, and -20%. The second scenario is flipped. It shows -20%, -5%, 5%, 15%, and 25%. The average annual return for scenario A and scenario B is the same. It's 2.79%. However, if you begin withdrawing from a portfolio in both of those scenarios, you get wildly different outcomes. Let's say that you had a $100,000 portfolio and you start withdrawing $10,000 a year. Well, scenario A, after 5 years, you would have just over $70,000, whereas scenario B, you would have just under $47,000. That's a massive difference. That's about $23,000. That's the difference between you being able to have enough money for 7+ more years versus running out of money in just under 5 years. That's a lot of money. That really impacts your style of life. And so, what we do at Creekmore Wealth is we figure out ways to reduce that sequence of return risk, which, in my opinion, is one of those massive risks that we can actually get rid of with proper financial planning, proper investment planning, and proper income planning. And if you haven't gone through the full retirement planning process with us yet, we maybe just talked about your investments, or maybe we've just now gotten the process started of working with you. I would really encourage you to ask your advisor, hey, what is my risk with sequence of return risk? And if you're working with someone now and you've never talked about that with them, you need to ask yourself why. And you need to ask yourself how exposed you are. It's one of the things that we plan for with every single one of our clients. In over 25 years, we've had great success removing that risk from people's portfolio. So I would encourage you, read Andy's article, have a conversation, and think through how exposed are you to sequence of return risk, especially when we are in a market that's been elevated and kind of going crazy for the last number of years. It's definitely worth your time and your effort to understand how exposed you may or may not be. Well, that's all I have for you guys this week. I hope you read that article from Andy. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to chat with you. Have a good one.